Hello and good afternoon. Welcome in. I want to get right into this broadcast. This is breaking. We have Candace speaking out. Candace Owens feels that more are involved behind Charlie Kirk's assassination. Once again, this is breaking right now, so I'm going to go right into it so that we can catch wherever we land, and then we'll listen to it again on the replay. From what I've gathered, Candace Owens feels that um, there's more people behind Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I believe she feels like she knows. She knows, okay? All right, so we're going to get into it. There's been a lot of technical difficulties. So as soon as this pulls up, we're going to play it. So go ahead. I'm going to give you my disclaimers. As you enter the building, go ahead and get the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, when you come into the chat, welcome in, welcome in. When you come into the chat, also be very respectful, okay, to not only me, but to my mods. Be very respectful as you enter into the building. I do allow people to speak their minds, okay? I do allow you to have freedom of speech over here. And as long as you're respectful. If you're not respectful, then hey, I will have to just go ahead and send you an invitation to the block list. I mean, there's always a block party, so be mindful of that. I do give warnings as far as time out. If you're just saying something a little silly, but a little too silly, I will put you on time out, or my mods will put you on a time out. So just be respectful of that as well. Look, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I do not have an affiliation, any type of affiliation to any one party. I'm not Republican, nor am I a Democrat, left field, right field. Okay, so I like to give those disclaimers out there as we get started. So let me see. I'm gonna try to get in here. There's been a little technical difficulties, but as soon as they get back online, we will get started. So I'm gonna do a sound check really quick. And while I do that sound check, y'all go ahead and get the thumbs up and subscribe. Once again, I am your host, Ethereal, and we're going to get this show on the road. Please put a 9 if you are able to hear me. I'm doing well. How are you doing today? Welcome in, Carla. Welcome in, Joseph. These are my two mods are in the building already. Joshua. I don't know why I always call you Joseph. Okay. Let me see, guys, because I don't know. I need some 9s to make sure that you can hear me. 9s if the audio is coming through clearly. Uh-oh, I need to do that. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. We're going to be ear hustling as soon as we can get through some barriers, some technical difficulties. Candace Owens feels that, hey, more are behind Charlie Kirk's assassination. And she's speaking out about it. And we're just going to tap into her. and what she has to say. As soon as we get past these commercials, everybody got to get their coins, okay? So make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get it.
Subject of Israel and don't want to be called those names when we have some mild pushback on some of the overreaches, whether it's, whether they're winning or losing the propaganda war right now. And my contention is they've begun to lose it. And I realize it's propaganda coming at us from Hamas, but their numbers have turned here in America. They've turned, not so much with Republicans, a little bit with Republicans, but completely with the Democrat Party and with independents. They have shifted mightily from at least double digits highs to single digit lows now with when it comes to approval. And also with respect to, you and I speculated about this at the Turning Point event, whether the possibility of Jeffrey Epstein possibly being a Mossad agent or asset or affiliated with, that's been turned around on me too, to you must be anti-Semitic. What the hell? That's such bullshit. The same people who say you can criticize Israel, that's fine, we won't call you anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel, now turn around immediately and say you're anti-Semitic for even raising that. I completely reject that, and I raise this as a pushback against my friends on that particular strain of the eye.
As you come in, please hit the thumbs up. Double tap your screen. Right now, we're doing a little ear hustling. Candace Owens is live, and we are tapping in. You are currently listening to, it looks as, well, it is an old podcast of Charlie Kirk, and she's playing that, so that's what you're hearing. I'll get back to that in a moment. I wanted to let you all know what you are listening to. But Candace Owens earlier said that she feels that there are more involved in the assassination, which I said earlier. I said that the first day, that it was too organized. It was way too organized, guys. Okay? Way too organized just for this youngster to plot that whole escape planning, getting out of there unseen. I have faith in my young people, but that was way too organized. And I already said it was more people behind this assassination of Charlie Kirk. So Candace is saying that too. I believe she got some receipts that she wants to drop, but she better be careful because she might be on the list, next on the list. And I'm going to be doing, some breaking stories are coming out today. So today might be a hot spot. You want to go ahead and subscribe and make sure you get the thumbs up. We're going to go back into ear hustling. I'm your host, Ethereal.
I visit Israel and fight for it. There's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? What am I doing? I'm sorry. Let's just take a step back here.
I can tell you right now, the energy that is coming out of him, the energy that's coming out of Megan, is where I was 2 years ago. Okay? I've been there. You can't even you can't even attempt to lie to me about what is pouring off of both of them. I was someone who spent my life, my political life, defending Israel. Didn't really mean anything to me. It seemed like a good, argument on surface that we should support them. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. And now I know that that's not even true. But who cares? I was just pro-America, and I wanted to focus on BLM and getting Black America better. And then that happened. I said one thing, and suddenly, whoa! It was they just line up. It's like Agent Smith. Okay, it's like Agent Smith and the Matrix. How many can there be all saying the same thing? And they gaslight you. They make you think you're crazy because they're like, why don't you understand why what you did is really wrong? I remember this. I remember the tweet. I said, no person, nobody, no nation anywhere in the world has a right to commit genocide. And I'm suddenly being flooded with messages from people, Dave Rubin. I remember this. I was like, what did you mean by that? And their text me was like, we can help you. You can help me what? I said something that made sense. This should not offend anybody. Nobody has, genocide's not cool, right? Did something change? Where was I? It's when you tweeted it. And you could have been clearer. You should have added that Israel would never do that. I'm like, okay, you guys are being insane. This statement stands. I was referring to Brian Mast's remarks, but even if I wasn't, and I just tweeted genocide is always wrong, that tweet should always be right. I can feel that. I'm not sure who you're
The Bluetooth successfully.
We're gonna get
You're
this
going
louder,
crazy
people.
for having sensible positions. And there's no house for this, okay? I can tell you that. You're either going to take being kicked in the chest, okay, and told to get out, and then suddenly they're all communicating behind your back, and just where you talk about the article, something goes out and suddenly it's like, you know, what's going on? They're like trying to make you think you're going crazy because you're saying some sensible stuff. Charlie was at that moment. He says that he is receiving messages calling him an anti-Semite. So how can you lie right now?
She feels somebody is involved, y'all.
Are you lying? They don't like little.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. Where we going, Candace?
Lies. I'm being contacted by a lot of people. They were telling me that just within 48 hours before Charlie passed away, his top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him. Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who that is. How many people could have donated? Charlie was killed in the building. Okay. Charlie himself had alluded to a tremendous loss of money come in, and we'll speak about that more. More people are going to come out with information. This is all inevitable. Okay. And I'll also point you in this direction. You guys remember Bibi recently was on a PR blitz, despite the fact that he was fighting this 96,000 front war because Israel didn't do nothing. Okay. He was doing a ton of podcasts in America. He went on to Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He went on to Brandon Tatum's podcast. He went on to the Nelk Boys podcast. Anybody find it weird he didn't do Charlie Kirk's show? Homie very quickly told us that Charlie was implied that Charlie was penning love letters to him in May. Just love you so much. It's amazing. They were so close. Boys just hits him up like, hey, I know we're fighting this 97,000 front war because we're always the victims, but do you want to just come and maybe stay at my place for the weekend here in Israel? Like, that's the vibe that Bibi was rushing to present to the media. So why didn't you do Charlie Kirk's show? I'll leave it as a question for you guys. Common sense, okay? I don't like small lies. And remember, Bibi started this. I am responding to his shamelessness, shameless misrepresentation of what Charlie was going through and what Charlie was saying. Because, and I want to be clear, to me right now, it feels, and I'm using a corporate term here, a bit like a hostile takeover, okay? Charlie builds the company organically on the basis of Charlie and Charlie's honest ideas. Suddenly, that company's got a lot of money.
Did I hear hostile takeover? As they get their coins, go ahead, get the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel today. I believe I have subs only, so you should be subbed if you're in the chat. But if not, if subs only is not on there, if one of my mods can let me know, did you see subs only when you came in the building? But if not, go ahead and sub to the channel today. We're ear hustling. Candace Owens is live, so we're ear hustling, and she feels it's more people behind it. I already knew that. That's going to come out in the wash. I just don't feel like this young 20 plus, however old, just had the planning capabilities of how precise and how clean that hit went off, right? And now he's mum. Mum is the word. He might get taken out too, y'all. Okay? And not wishing death on nobody, but that youngster might be up out of here. You heard it here first, okay? It's too clean. And so we're back with Candace. Get that thumbs up. Let's go.
They said her ring was too small, and they called her a broke, B-I-T-C-H. There was this whole drama that was happening, which we'll unpack a different day. Maybe I'll leave today's on this tidbit. But those people never mentioned that they were in the Hamptons for a Turning Point event or for a Turning Point weekend, which Bill is saying. Why is that? Were they told not to say anything about being at that event? Because Bill Ackman's being very open about it, but they weren't open about it at that time. We'll leave there. We will leave it right there.
Okay.
I will just add here that the response to me asking these questions, it is like, if you want to know why everyone hates like rabid supporters of Israel, it's because
okay, thank you, Carla.
Tone, right?
Thanks
They're
for
like,
checking.
In the comments being like, Bill Ackman, sue her, take her money, just take our money. That's it. That's how we win. This is what they always do. They threaten to sue you. They threaten to smear you, to libel you. How dare you even ask the questions? This is this chick. I don't even know what her name is, her real name is, but like the gay who straight is how she goes. This is what, like before Charlie died. I'm not kidding. A week before he died, this was her tweet to him. I'm going to show you how sick these people are. Okay. Do you have that tweet, Skylar? Oh, okay. Well, she tweeted this whole thread about how Charlie Kirk had to distance himself from Tucker Carlson. She was one of the people creating online pressure. Tucker Carlson has gone a bridge too far, blah, 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 blah. And Charlie's going to ruin his company. Again, there's always the threats, always the threat of money. And yes, she happens to be Jewish, okay? And then Charlie dies, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't, this person I was just saying, like, light little, do this or else to pray for Charlie Kirk. And now she's arrived at this Bill Ackman thing. It's just sue her. Just sue. That's how we win. We crush them economically. We're sick of this. We are, all of us, collectively, the globe, we're tired of you guys, okay? It's always about money, threats.
That's what
all
it's
of
about,
this stuff.
Candace.
It's ridiculous.
What?
Do what we say,
Capitalism,
or we'll ruin your life. We're going to call up all our friends, and we'll just start writing hit pieces about you, and we'll destroy you. Do what we say, or we'll have you canceled. We'll have your sponsorships dropped. Do what we say, or we'll make sure that you're fired. We'll put pressure so that you can't earn an income. If you're still not going to listen to us and you survive that, we're going to sue you for everything you have. You guys suck, okay? We don't care about your money. We are tired of it. This reveals who you are, not who I am. The truth should be enough.
It's always been about money.
I've offered him my platform. If there's more you'd like to say, Bill, things you'd like to clarify, again, my platform is yours, even though I know you're so highfalutin and above us. He even says in that tweet, by the way, he says, like, speaking about how much, they just don't care about you billionaires. He's like, and the fact that she monetized her video, something along those lines, like talking about yesterday's episode, oh my God, how can she read ads? Oh, are you the same Bill Ackman that made an absurd amount of money while we were in COVID lockdowns and we couldn't work? Are you the same Bill Ackman who like turned that into like billions? I'm pretty sure you are.
Candace, are you mad?
Yourself,
Candace
okay?
mad, y'all. She's spilling the beans.
Nobody can make money but us.
Come on, Candace, spill the beans.
The person that was in the Hamptons, other people that were at the Hamptons, they're all talking about this.
Spill the beans, sister.
And told them that they shouldn't own property. And they should give money to, stocks. That's how they can be successful.
Woo! I knew it. It's always about money, right, guys? It's always about money.
That's what he said. Bill Ackman, you can reply. Did you tell people that they shouldn't own property when you gave your presentation on this now infamous meeting in the Hamptons, which wasn't publicized until I publicized it? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Are we allowed to do that? Or are you going to sue me? You're going to crush me?
Candace, you might pump your brakes.
Us all. Why are you guys like this? Is my question. Laura Loomer in too. But this is like how Bill, I guess, wins the argument. They're like, Bill gave money. It's all about money all the time. Bill Ackman says he's offering $1 million to whoever any information he has regarding the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk. And then she attacks me yesterday and she's like, Bill Ackman gave $1 million, Candace. What did you give? What did you give? I don't know. 2 years of my effing life to Charlie? Helping him build things? Why is everything about money to you? Why do you think having money makes you a decent human being? Why are you so soulless?
But I do have a question. When Charlie's wife, came on and spoke to the public for the first time, which I don't know why that video of mine went muted. I was one of the first on the scenes to give you all that message that when Charlie Kirk's wife spoke to the public, I was confused why she didn't acknowledge Candace. She thanked everybody else, but she didn't thank Candace. Don't think that went over my head. I'm paying attention. But Candace is hot. I believe she wants to spill the beans.
Instinct is not right. It's crazy. And everyone's paying attention to it. Answer the questions, and I will publish the truth. The end. A couple of ads. I said I wasn't going to freak out today. I did freak out a little bit right there.
Crash out, Candace. We want to know what's up.
First, I'm going to remind you guys about Tax Network USA. I know, because I know I should read these ads. It's Bill Ackman. It's like, how could you put ads in here? I can hedge against COVID and make billions, but you, little girl, don't read an ad.
I told you not to be a token, Candace.
Tax Network USA. If you're stressed about
back taxes, your mind and stand your ground.
You missed the April deadline, or your books are a mess, Do not wait. The IRS is cracking down. Penalties are adding up fast. 5% per month, up to 25% just for not filing. But there is help. Tax Network USA can take the burden off your shoulders and stop the spiral before it gets worse. They've helped thousands of Americans, whether you're an employee, a small business owner, or you haven't filed in years. They have seen it all, and they know exactly how to clean it up with direct access to powerful IRS programs and expert negotiators on your side. Tax Network USA knows how to help you win. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they may even be able to reduce or eliminate what you owe. More importantly, they'll help protect you from wage garnishments or bank levies. So do not wait. Call. Don't wait for the next IRS letter. You should call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. You may have missed the tax deadline, but you haven't run out of options. So let Tax Network USA help you by calling 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. Also telling you guys about Mimi Skincare. You know I love them. Look around. You will take a note of who is standing by Charlie in this terrible moment, and you will also notice who is silent or who is cheering it. There are many businesses who refuse to say a word about this cruel act. It's not left or right. Again, this is about humanity. The silence speaks volumes. Now is the time to really step up and support the companies that are willing to be bold, because when they stand with us, they give us the courage to be fearless.
Candace trying to get back in the spotlight.
They have always been unapologetic.
They gave her the boot a while back, y'all.
They love family and they love
while she doing,
doing
her ad work. Candace got the boot from the inner circle a long time ago, okay? She got the boot so bad after she spoke on the rabbi and they had a debate, and she's, I can't remember. I don't follow Candace, so don't hold me to knowing too much about Candace. I do not follow her, okay? I'm here for you all. We ear hustling together, okay? But she spoke out to this rabbi, right? Remember her channel got taken down, guys? Remember they suspended? I don't know how she got back on and monetized back on YouTube, but I think she was out of the game for about a year. Might have been a year. Remember they took her out they'll take you out the game. These Jewish folk. And they'll holler anti-Semitic quick. And so she thought she was cool. She thought she was locked in. Nobody came to help Candace. Candace just now trying to get back in the game. I say she's a token. She is. Because you can be a Black woman, speak your mind, and don't have to kowtow to nobody. No one. Okay? Just like everybody should not have to be kowtowing and walking on eggshells, whomever you are. And that's my opinion. Okay? And so she got put out the game, and now this is her opportunity. Everybody's an opportunist, guys. Everybody's an opportunist, because this is her opportunity to get back in the doggone game. Okay, now she got some receipts. So we're trying to hear what receipts she got and who she thinks involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. But I warn you, Candace, you gonna get your butt caught up in something too deep you can't get out of. We might be hearing about Candace, and they're gonna be slow. How it go? Slow crawling and oh goodness, singing gospel songs, carrying your casket, Candace. You better watch out, because you know them Jewish folks came after you behind last time. And that's right. Rest in peace to Trey Reeds. We're going to talk about that because there's some breaking news also coming out about Trey Reeds. I did a live stream earlier today about a young Black man that was found hung several days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Very suspect indeed. But guys, I don't know if it's true. I'm hearing that they have found a white man hung. What? That's breaking history. We have never in life heard of a white man being hung from a tree. Yeah, you heard it. And so I'm going to look into that. That's probably going to be the next broadcast, because if that's the case, they trying to cover up Trey Reeds. Okay, it's a lot going on, people. You need to sub up today. I need the subs up and I need the thumbs up, because the news is going to hit the wire right here. I'm Etheria, your host. Let's get back to it.
Let's get to the bottom of the corruption. We do. This is the case. This is the case. We're not letting this one go. Alma Coronado writes, sending you love from Douglas, Arizona. I'm sending you guys love back, and thank you for that donation. Thank you to everyone who went on to my website and bought a hat, one of our CIA hats, bought a t-shirt, and supported us, because they're going to sue us all. They're going to sue you until you agree, okay? And threaten to sue you and have lawyers involved, and we will crush you because we're really good people, is what they say. And the rumors aren't true, okay? Now that we all got it out of our system, sue, 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 sue. Read some more comments. S61 writes, may the Lord continue to keep you strong and protected as you continue to reveal the truth. Thank you, guys. Keep the prayers up. I am telling you, they help. Pray. Pray every day. Go to church. I love seeing the people who are like, something about that moment is when you woke up and realized we are fighting real spiritual evil and you felt inclined to go to church. Maple Leaf Girl writes, please look into Governor Cox. He's a corrupt rhino. He stole the election. I've gotten a lot of emails that are saying that. I obviously know nothing about that election. He stole the election to reinsert himself as the governor.
Oh, you
Reached
trying
out
to reinsert
Phil Hyman,
yourself,
who ran
Candace.
against Cox and was
You
chosen
trying to reinsert
as a
yourself,
Republican
sister.
candidate by the delegates, and Eric Moutsos was the LEO and has dealt with Zinn in the past. That's an interesting tidbit. And I will look into all of those things. Mia writes, praying for your safety. We need truth, and I trust only you right now. Thank you. And especially, I want to say thank you to Lance's family, because I know this is not an easy time for you. And she was telling me, and he was telling me, most people that I spoke to in that family were saying that they were receiving all sorts of phone calls from people that are just looking up their last name and thinking like, oh, you must support this or whatever. They're like, no, like our values, irrespective of politics, these are not our values. We are horrified by this. And remember that. Just remember that. Don't harass people unless you're certain that they would possibly agree with this. And they do not agree with this, and they want answers just as much as we do. Chips writes, the text chain from Tyler to his boyfriend, no 22-year-old uses perfect grammar in a text chain, commas and periods. Something about that text chain is telling me we need a little bit more about that text chain. Stephen Carrington writes, may God and Jesus forever have your back. Thank you so much, Stephen. Bible with Bell writes, don't believe these texts for a second. He was worried about leaving evidence, then conveniently text every detail. Thank you.
Jay.
Thank you.
Jay.
I do
Corey,
not leave any evidence.
Jay, is Corey the young white man that just was found hung in the tree? Jay, let me know, because I got to do my research on that. I just found out that they have found another person hung in a tree, but shockingly, it is a white male. I don't know if that's who you're referring to, but hey, help a sister out. Let a sister know. Get the thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel today. Let's go. Casings BS. Casings RBS. Okay. You guys got to just write the full word. Okay. I'm not good at slang. He was intending to retrieve the gun. Why would he write the messages? Text messages also looked fake. Can you confirm, is that a white male? Nobody talks like that, especially after he murders someone. No way. Yeah, even talking about. Thank you. This is why I inscribed this on the casings. Hand clap. Thank you, Jay, for giving me that information on the go. We are going to be investigating that. I will come back live because that is very interesting. And that's for you, Jay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I need to investigate that too. We need to know, because for me, that's the first time I've heard of a white male being hung in a tree. Can y'all say cover up? Can y'all say the shit has hit the fan? But anyway, excuse my French. We ear hustling. We're listening to Candace Owens. She feels that something's going down, but I know she's just trying to get big in the game. But we just gonna listen to what she has to say anyway. As you enter the building, go ahead, get the thumbs up, double tap your screen, and subscribe to the channel today. You're going to get the hottest news right off the presses, and it might still be on the presses when you get it. We're ear hustling. I'm your host, Ethereal. This impacted people have a soul, and they have removed us from our soul and have us warring with each other. We are so in our minds warring about these ideas, not realizing they're poisoning us. And I mean that physically, but more importantly, spiritually. We are fighting real demons. And if you were on the left, you are not my enemy. If you've fallen for ideologies, I did too. Okay? I've come out on the other side. That's funny. Real funny. Meet. Have you, I mean, literally, let me put this back up here so I can read this right here. Literally, Candace was talking about typos and things of that nature. Y'all stop acting like y'all damn perfect. If there's a typo, if there's something misspelled, you know what's up. I'm rushing to get you the news that you can use. Okay, y'all, it'd be the most perfect, non-perfect people that be in chats that always got something to say. Always got something to say, and in a dark room somewhere, typing on a computer. We're listening to Candace Owens. I know she's a token. She's poison. Okay, I hope that you're talking to Candace Owens. Look, I have to say this every time. Y'all should know this by now. In any chat, being online, social media has been around for quite a while. If you are directly talking to me at E, just put E. You don't have to type it out because I wouldn't want to harp on you just in case you have a spelling error. I wouldn't want to downplay your intelligence. Maybe you have a spelling error. So just go ahead and put E, all right? And I know that you are talking directly to me because any other time, I'm going to assume that you are talking to somebody in the chat. Or you just putting your thoughts out there. But if you want to direct something to me, make sure it's respectful. Oh, make sure it's respectful, please. Or you will get that golden ticket to the block party. All right? And make sure you respect my moms. They're in the building. All right? They come in and out, so you never know if they might be lurking. We're ear hustling today, ladies and gentlemen. We're listening to Candace Owens. We're going to start her live over again. It looks like she just ended it. So, yeah, we want to see what she has to say. She's trying to get back in the loop, y'all. She's trying to get back in the loop. So here we go. Let me turn it up.
Sort of a distraction. Okay, we have eyes. We can see that.
That's get it all the way to the beginning. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Double tap your screen. You are clueless. Candace has 100. You know, let me tell you something about IQs that you folks love to holler about. You know, when your IQ is you know that y'all love to brag about. Let me put this up here so people know what the hell I'm talking about. What you know? Why you folks always think it's about IQ? It's about neurodivergent people. You go ahead and subscribe. IQ people go crazy. IQ people, they on the borderline of insanity when their IQ is too high. It's about being a neurodivergent. Go look that word up and come back in the chat and talk to me then, okay? We think differently. We are so far removed from IQ and letting the books tell you how smart you should be.
A heck of a Tuesday for us, guys.
Okay, pause, Candace. Let me finish what I got to say. We are so outside of coloring in the coloring lines. Do you understand? We don't follow every little word and being institutionalized from grade school to college and beyond with your IQ. Silly rabbit. You know, half of the billionaires that run in businesses, half of them haven't even graduated college with your IQ test. But you're so brilliant. Depend on that IQ test and keep it pushing.
We begin. I'll tell you this. Something is not right. Something is not right.
I hate her because I ain't her.
I'm going to
no, baby.
Whoever it is listening to this podcast right now.
Pause for the cause. You hate her because you ain't her. I ain't got to sell out my people, or will I coon and shuck and jive for the man? You understand? Do you understand? Because nobody came to Candace's rescue when the white man, that Jewish man, shut her down. All her shucking and jiving didn't save her. Now the only reason you hearing about Candace right now is because she was affiliated with Charlie Kirk for 2 years, shucking and jiving, and she's trying to build herself back up, get back in the game. Do you not know? You don't know game, recognize players, recognize somebody trying to creep back in and get her little tap shoes back on. You're right. I would never want to be her. Let's continue.
to wake up, because I am telling you, this is not a battle between left and right. We all thought that at some point. We believed that. You're my enemy, you're my enemy. It is not a battle between Russia, Ukraine. I don't care what your political issue of the day is. What is happening right now in the world and what just happened to my friend Charlie Kirk is a battle of sheer evil versus goodness. What do I have for you guys today? Okay, well, first and foremost, the indictment against Tyler Robinson was just released, and I have a lot of questions that I think need to be answered regarding his trans boyfriend, Lance Twiggs. Well, I just spoke to a family member who told me a lot about Lance Twiggs, because the media is kind of presenting him as this do-gooder. You might be interested to know that his family has a different perspective. Also, Turning Point employees are contacting me, a lot of them, okay? And I am not liking what I am hearing from them about things that took place leading up to that Hamptons event, some changes at the organization in the months leading up to that event, and what had been happening more broadly at the company over the last year. Speaking of which, Bill Ackman, you may have caught that he responded to me about the Hamptons with a lot of words to really say nothing at all. And I want to be clear, I am not done, okay? I'm coming for everybody. Charlie Kirk's death is really just a beginning. So welcome back.
All right, go ahead and get the thumbs up. Get the thumbs up. Double tap your screen and subscribe to the channel today. We are ear hustling into the live stream that Candace Owens was just on. It just ended shortly, like seconds ago. And I am replaying it for the ones that are coming in. Feel free to put your comments. This is a platform where you can speak your mind as long as it is respectful. If not, you can guarantee you'll get a certified certificate invitation, to the block list. Okay, it's a block party happening every day. All right, and you will get your invitation. Be respectful to others in the chat as well, especially the mods that come in and out. And if you want to address me, you can at me with just E. All right, my name is Ethereal. I am your host.
They did it and gets arrested for saying that they did it, implying that they did it. Well, for whatever reason, George Zinn, who is a 71-year-old man, was moved to do that, right? Instantly. Charlie Kirk gets shot. Suddenly, the 71-year-old man jumps up and creates what is obviously some sort of a distraction. Okay, we have eyes, we can see that. That's not normal. He creates a distraction. So let's just take a look at this clip of him being arrested in the aftermath of the shooting. Well, now it's about to get even stranger, because since he's been arrested, he's now facing charges of obstruction of justice because he didn't do it, right? Why would you do that? Why would you obstruct justice in this manner? And now, in addition to those charges, we learn that he's been harboring images of child abuse, okay? He has kiddie porn. This is the headline. I can't make this up. Man arrested for allegedly faking confession to Charlie Kirk's killing. George Zinn, accused of obstructing justice, was also booked in connection with images on his cell phone related to child abuse, okay? So we learn from this article that after being arrested, the 71-year-old man for this second-degree felony, which is obstruction of justice, he was also, when the police had approached him, he was being weird about giving them his cell phone, okay? So they took him into custody, they treated him for a medical condition, and then they start asking this guy questions about, what are you doing? Can we see your cell phone? And he's being really cagey about giving over his cell phone. Like, okay, we're trying to get to the bottom of why you would stand up and scream, shoot me, immediately following the aftermath of this murder, okay? And what they discover is that when asked by an officer, okay, after they figure out that he's not being cooperative, is that he has images. He has images of kiddie porn, there's no other way to say this, of related to child abuse on his cell phone. Now, what does that tell you about this guy? Okay, what does it tell you about George Zinn? What that signals to me about George Zinn is that I've read a lot about Jeffrey Epstein. I've read a lot about blackmail operations. The people they tend to go after are people who are into children. Full stop. Now, I'm not saying, I obviously, he's just been charged here, so I guess we have to say allegedly, but that's what's coming out now, that they found images on his cell phone. So this guy who is into this sort of thing, we also figure out that in the past, he has given interviews related to September 11th and Al-Qaeda. He is in Utah and he is obstructing justice. And he also happens to have this totally disgusting addiction of some description. I'm assuming it's an addiction, and that's what he's harboring. He's harboring child abuse images on his phone. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's my instinct immediately. I don't like this guy. That is suspect, okay? Something to watch. Now, in terms of this indictment, now that we can formally read the indictment, there's been a lot that's been said that I think a lot of the miscommunication is perhaps coming from Governor Cox. I think he, in and of himself, I probably should look into Governor Cox. I'm not sure why he said some things that are apparently untrue. Maybe he misspoke. I understand there's a lot of pressure when it comes to this investigation. But let's just take us through this indictment. I think it's important for us to go through it so that we can see the setup here of what took place on September 10th. Now, first, they provide basically an overview in this indictment. It's a probable cause statement. They tell us that basically after 33 hours, they really love saying it, 33 hours, I don't know why they keep signaling that to us, on September 11, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at Washington County Sheriff's Office. That was when it happened. They found DNA consistent with Robinson on the rifle trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun. They're going to get into that. Discarded the clothing that he was wearing when he fired the rifle, and he told his lover/roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not to speak with police. And also, they will be charging him count 6 because children were present at the time of the shooting. Okay, now to get through this, we are told that the suspect, after this shooting took place, that there was a police officer who immediately looked upward and realized that he had heard the sign of a rifle, knew that it was obviously coming from the rooftops. They then began crawling through the footage to see what had happened. They tell us that this discovery led to an intensive review. Let me go actually back up to this paragraph. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera that was covering the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual that was dressed in dark clothing who had crossed the railing from the public walkway and dropped onto the roof at approximately 12:15 p.m. Now, just to very quickly, I'm going to just tell you, according to our timeline, we know that Charlie gets shot at 12:23 p.m. So they're now telling us that he was on that roof since 12:15 p.m. So he's setting up that shot, we can assume, for about 8 minutes, okay? It goes on, although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area that the officer had recognized as where the suspected sniper had dropped into a prone shooting position. After a short time, which matches the known time of the shot, the individual arose and then ran across the roof to the northeast. So nothing in here implies that he had, taken apart the shotgun. That just seems to be now removed from the narrative altogether. It goes on to read that this discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance recordings to attempt to track and identify the suspect. Surveillance revealed the following: that at approximately 11:51 a.m., the suspect had entered campus from the north. He is wearing a black shirt with an American flag in center, a dark baseball cap, large sunglasses. Throughout the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across the campus, he is seen walking with an unusual gait. The suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg, consistent with a rifle being hidden in his pants. This unusual gait continues until the suspect is seen crossing the railing off the open walkway and onto the roof, where he leaves the camera's view. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is they've only sent us screenshots, right? We've only seen a picture of him coming up the staircase. It looked to me like both his legs were bending. I don't see why they don't just release. Why don't they just release this fully so we can make sure that this is the same person that we see walking across with a limp, right? That footage which was provided by TMZ. Also, you will notice that nowhere in this indictment as we go on are they going to mention which Governor Cox spoke about. Like, first he came in a different outfit. Remember, Governor Cox said he was wearing the light shorts and maroon shirt. The implication here being that maybe he came to come scout things, to check things out. At first, this is him, but then he comes back in the black outfit. This is missing from the indictment, and I'm wondering why. What is the explanation for that? That would be a part of it if you were scouting the shooting. Now they're just like, let's jump into the guy that is wearing black, and we're not going to give you footage. We're going to tell you that this is him, and you can assume that he slowly walked up this staircase and was obscuring his face from view. Okay. Then it tells us that a camera later captures the suspect.
Okay, we're listening to Candace. She was live, and so this is the recap. As you come in the building, go ahead and get the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel today. I try to keep you up to date as well as I can on what's going on with this case. Also, Jay, where did you hear that article? Because I did hear about the hanging of a white male. This is the second hanging. There was a black male hung in Mississippi a few days ago. But do you have the source where you heard that from? Because I am going to be going live and talking about the hanging of a white male. The first I've ever heard, and I've walked this earth for a long time, a white male hanging from a tree. It's just a lot of stuff is going on. So Jay, if you can source that your information, and you're saying that there's not a picture of the white male yet, it's just, that is just so very odd. Why would they even put out that a white male had been hung and not given a picture or anything? That is that's soon to come. That's a live stream soon to come. Okay, so if you're still in the building, Jay. All right, guys, we are ear hustling. We're listening to Candace Owens. She feels something is shady. There's more people involved in the the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and so she's just speaking her mind right now, and we're ear hustling. Go ahead and hey, get the thumbs up and let's go. Subscribe today. I'm your host, Ethereal.
He runs across the roof, he gets into the shooting position, and then immediately after the shot was fired, we know that he runs across carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down the roof.
Billy, do you have the pictures of the young man that was Corey? That's the pictures I'm looking for. If so, you can email them to me. Information is in the description box. I would appreciate it. Thank you. Let's continue.
He appears to drop the item that he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of the campus. It tells us that's how they then expand their crime scene investigation. They followed his escape path to the northeast end of the campus, where they believe the suspect left campus and entered a wooded area. In that wooded area, investigators found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. So again, there was no disassembly. It's wrapped in a towel. Presumably, that's how he covered it while he was running. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time of and immediately after the shooting. There were no shell casings that were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired, okay? Then they tell us what was actually inscribed, and these are essentially memes. "Hey, fascist, catch," says one on one cartridge. You got "Notices bulge." What's this? On another cartridge. "Oh, Bella, chow, Bella, chow, Bella, chow, chow, chow." On a third cartridge. And on the fourth cartridge, it reads, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO. Okay, they detailed that. The rifle, the ammunition rounds, and the towel were then sent for forensic processing, and that the DNA was consistent with Robinson that was found on the trigger and other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, and 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges and the towel. Okay, they were able to immediately locate the shooter. They were unable, to immediately locate the shooter. So that's when they published the photos of the shooter from their surveillance, and they asked for the public's help. Now we're going to get a little bit more of a narrative change, right? They tell us that as they continued their investigation on September 11th, Tyler James Robinson then walked in to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, and he's accompanied by his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Okay. Now, again, he didn't confess yet, but he's here to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated the following to police, that on September 11th, the day after the shooting, she saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought that the shooter looked like her son. She then called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick, and that he had also been homesick on yesterday, September 10th, when the shooting occurred. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspected shooter looked like Robinson. So she's calling her husband and she's going, hey, this kind of looks like our son. And then his father agrees that looks like their son. So Robinson's mother explained to the officers that over the last year or so, Robinson had become increasingly more political. He had started to lean more left. He was becoming more pro-gay and more trans-right oriented. That Robinson began to date his roommate, which is a biological male who was transitioning genders. We're going to get to him in a second. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding this event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him that surveillance image of a suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that the police had suspected the shooter had used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. And as a result, he then
I have
contacts his son
to
and
interrupt
asks
every
him
now and
to
again,
send a
not to
photo
irritate
of the
you,
rifle.
to do my commentary. Look, we're listening to Candace Owens. She's reading off the information that she has gotten from, the indictment. I believe this is her opportunity to get back into the limelight. That's just my opinion. Okay. We're ear hustling. I'm your host, Ethereal. I need for you to go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you like this page, this platform, go ahead and subscribe today. And we're going to continue ear hustling.
Gifted to him. Robinson did not respond to that. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Tyler at that moment, and Tyler implied that he planned to take his own life. Now, his parents were then able to convince him to meet at their home, not to do that. And as they discussed the situation, Robinson implied is the word they use here, that he was the shooter, and stated that he could not go to jail and that he just wanted to end things. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained that there was too much evil and that this guy, Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in, and they convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who happens to be a retired deputy sheriff. And at Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents, and they convinced Robinson to turn himself in. Okay. Again, he did not confess, but he turned himself in. And they then detail that they tell him, hey, look, also bring in any clothes that you used because you don't want the police to then have to search the property of your parents. So anything that you use, you need to bring over. Okay. That doesn't exactly make sense because Robinson is living with his trans boyfriend, but that is apparently Robinson replies that at that moment that he had disposed of clothes in different area. So they're looking into that. Okay. Now we're getting to the roommate portion, which is very interesting to me, and I will tell you why. It's interesting to me because I obviously have had a lot of tips. I've had a lot of conversations with people that knew both of these individuals. When I say both, I'm referring to...
Our flooring comes with a free lifetime installation warranty, so you can rest easy. Book a free consultation with Express. Just search for Express Flooring.
Another overpriced phone bill? Stop overpaying and switch us to Tello.
All right, I know she got to get her
Who are you?
coins,
I'm
y'all.
you from the...
Go ahead and get thumbs up. We're ear hustling. I'm your host, Ethereal. Yeah, Candace has something to say, and we're going to listen to what she has to say.
This is a very good family, and that there were certain narratives out there that didn't make sense to them. Like, they could not compute them as it pertained to Tyler Robinson, okay? And they're saying there's no way, if like, they're not saying he couldn't have been involved. I very, very much want to be clear. I believe that Tyler Robinson was involved on the basis of this evidence, but rather that there's no way he could have acted alone, that this had to be a part of some wider plot, okay? And when I'm speaking to people that are close to this situation, what they are shocked about is the fact that only Tyler could have been arrested, because it's a different perspective when it comes to Tyler's trans boyfriend, okay? Tyler's trans boyfriend's name is Lance Twiggs, and they are very shocked. In fact, the people that are intimately involved in the situation are saying, we thought he was definitely going to get charged, because apparently, and again, I'm going to say this, allegedly, he had been arrested or taken in on the same day. Now, the media narrative is that that guy was being really cooperative, had nothing to do with anything. Okay, we're going to go through that. And again, I'm going to tell you what his family is saying. I'm referring now to Lance Twiggs. Let's get to what the indictment tells us about him. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that he had received messages from Tyler Robinson about the shooting, and he provided those messages to police. And then it goes on, describing those messages. On September 10th, 2025, oh wait, they're not telling us the time. I don't like that. I hope that's just you forgot, but I need to know exactly when you're saying these messages, okay? Because I'm into my timeline, okay? A basis of what I'm about to read, these messages had to have gone out after Charlie Kirk was shot. If I'm using my context clues, my Blues clues to put things together, but they're not clear here. They just say on September 10th, 2025, no time given, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, quote, drop what you are doing and look under my keyboard. The roommate, Lance, and looks under his keyboard and he finds a note that states, quote, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. The structure of that is weird. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Okay, that's just structurally, that's not proper English, okay? It's either I have, okay, or I had, past tense. Again, not clear. Police found a photograph of this note, and the following text exchange then took place. After reading that note, the roommate texts Tyler and he says, what? You're joking, right? Robinson writes, I'm still okay, my love, but I am stuck in a REM for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep the secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. The roommate replies, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson replies, I am. I'm sorry. The roommate replies, I thought they caught the person. Robinson replies, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude that interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle still lingering. The roommate says, why? Robinson says, why did I do it? The roommate says, yeah. Robinson says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully, they have moved on.
So this is Candace Owens. She's reading the indictment, and she's on because she says she feels like more people are involved. I mean, anybody with a little sense would figure out more people are involved in this. Like, this kid didn't do this on his own. But, that's just maybe my opinion. But I stated that when this case first broke. So we're ear hustling. Here's Candace.
I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate says, how long have you been planning this? Robinson says, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, referring to the rifle, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Robinson says, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hopefully they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. What? You're worried about explaining losing the rifle to your father. Not worried that you left the rifle and therefore it's obviously going to be found out. Like the only thing that you left was the murder weapon. This is weird. This chain is weird to me. It's weird to me that we don't know what time. I don't know what he means. Where is he stuck here, guys? Do you have a clue here? Enjoy free shipping with Restaurant Plus.
As you come in, we're ear hustling today. We're listening to Candace. She was on about 30 minutes ago live. This is the recap. Go ahead and get the thumbs up as you enter the building. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell all the way to the top so that you can get notified every time this platform goes live, okay? And you'll get the latest and the greatest news, okay? We're trying to stay up to date with everything that's coming out regarding this case.
Monitoring the situation, because this is going to give us a timeline, whether they tell us when these messages happened or not. The fact that he already knows that they grabbed some crazy old dude and that they also interrogated someone in similar clothing, we're going to be able to go back and plot exactly when that happened, or at least when the public was informed, because this whole correspondence is very strange to me. It's very strange to me. He then is even more explicit, talk about trying to cover your tracks, but then explicitly texting everything to your lover. He says, the only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a meme. If I see notices bulge on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Okay, so if this is our guy, oh, we're not done, let's finish. That really sucks, he's gotta leave it. And then he says, judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I think that was a $2,000 scope. And then he does a winky face. And then he tells him, delete this exchange. And then Robinson says, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says, Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Oh, his dad's calling him. Okay, well, the dad, this is interesting. When is this text chain taking place? Okay, because we just heard that, the dad, they figured it out the next day. They're making it sound like this all happened back to back. Is this happening over 2 days? Why not tell us this instantly so I can work it into my timeline? Okay, are these messages day one? And then what? They had no correspondence at all until he jumps right back in and says, my dad's calling me. Where were you when your dad called you? You guys live together. Why are you texting at all? Why didn't this kid immediately call? If they're in lockdown and he needs to go back and get his rifle, right? This kid could have, and I'm speaking about Lance, could have contacted immediately and said, I'm getting a confession right now. I don't like that we are not being told the exact timestamp of these messages because, my timeline demands it.
She is invested. Now, I know one reason why she's invested is because she's trying to get back in the loop, whatever circle, the inner circle, right? But the thing is, I think back to when Charlie's wife addressed, the people, the nation, if you will. And she thanked everybody. Now, maybe it's just me. I don't recall her addressing or thanking Candace, because Candace was in Charlie's life in the beginning. Candace said in her first address to the people that she actually helped Charlie marry his wife. She helped Charlie get hooked up with his wife, trying to convince her to have the last name, that her last name sucked, the wife's last name, right? This is what Candace said. And I'm wondering why the wife ain't mentioned Candace. So why Candace riding so hard for Charlie? It's something's amiss other than she's just trying to get back in the loop. We are ear hustling today. We're just listening to what Candace has to say. She went live and she's saying she feels that other people are involved. She's been reading off the indictment of Mr. Robinson. So we're going to just finish ear hustling. And hey, go ahead and get those thumbs up.
To close loop on how this enters, again, not knowing what has happened, Robinson says, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says, Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Robinson says, well, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson says, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors is here. He is a deputy for the sheriff. Robinson says, you are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried. The roommate says, Lance says, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson says, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. How you guys feeling about that? Yeah. Mark is going to jump on and say something. Go ahead, Mark. Yeah, he's the guy that's always in my ear.
Not always. I just noticed that around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above them.
You're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
Around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above, if you look really closely.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're cherry picking certain exchanges. So that my dad is super MAGA just comes out of nowhere because they picked it from a totally different part of the conversation.
Yeah, these messages are clearly doctored, is what I would say. They're doctored. Now, they could decide why they're doing that. Tyler's being forthcoming. We're protecting him in some capacity. I find that to be unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. I want every single text message. I want timestamps. It is conspicuous that you are not telling us when this was sent, because it sounds like it's when the campus is on lockdown and he's got to go back, he's got to clip, and then all of a sudden we're in the next day when his dad is getting clued in after the picture's been released. They're not telling us that, okay? And you have a right to be a little bit uncomfortable about that, because I'm a lot of bit uncomfortable about that. We need full answers. Further to that point, I have found this strange from the beginning that for whatever reason, we're not hearing too much about this Lance guy other than like he's been extremely cooperative. He's handed over his messages. I'm not implying that Lance was involved. I am implying that it's weird that we're not here. Lived with the guy. You're telling me us now that he's about his plans. They're in love. Is nobody interested in learning more about this character? Okay, so Tyler's people are saying Tyler's a good kid. People around Tyler, classmates are telling me he's a good kid. So I go into our tips box, and it turns out that actually Lance Twig's family has tried to reach out to me over the weekend. Obviously, I was in a very
Go ahead and get the thumbs up. Participate. You're free to speak in the chat as long as you're respectful. You are free to have your own opinion, and long as you're respectful, especially to the host, okay? Make sure you subscribe today so that you can get the breaking latest news. As soon as I get it or hear about it, I'm on here and I'm giving it to you. I'm trying to keep you guys updated on, what people have to say, especially people that was close to Charlie Kirk and was around him. And Candace obviously worked with him for 2 years, okay? And so she's saying that she just feels that something is definitely suspect in everything and all of this. Let me see. Hope we're not going to be going back into having some technical issues, because we were doing that earlier. Okay, we're back. All right.
members telling me these details, but it is definitely allegedly what they say, and so we can hear both sides. Okay, I'm going to pull this up because I took notes regarding Lance, because I want to know everything. Okay. Lance, they told us, went to live with his relatives, so no longer in the house with his mother and father. Again, allegedly, his again, he went to live with relatives, and he has issues. They say allegedly has a lot of issues with drinking. That Christmas, approximately 3 years ago, he almost overdosed. He drank a bottle of vodka. They are telling me that they were there. They were present for this, and fear began to spread about whether or not even the family would be able to take care of him because of issues that he was having. Okay, he graduates high school, and then essentially the extended family says, you know, we can't keep you in our home because of his behavior. Just this past Easter Sunday, they are telling me that he showed up on drugs, and he was spouting out of his mouth about political stuff. And at this point, they felt that he could not be around children, that they felt that he had become increasingly more radical, increasingly more dangerous, and just sort of off the rails. They said that they're unhappy that the media is presenting him in this like manner, like he's just this kind of like soft guy, or like, you know, person that was just transitioning.
The parents sound like they want him making
They don't buy the story.
Wow.
Lance's family is telling me that they are not buying the current story.
Wait a
and
minute.
That they feel that more people are involved.
It might be his family involved. Lance might be the fall guy, you all. I'm trying to tell you. Because Lance don't look like he had the planning capabilities to get this heist off. Well, not heist, this assassination off. Okay, and the parents is throwing him under the bus. Hey, the parents might be more involved because they was connected with some folks who knew some folks who knew some folks. Okay, but we just ear hustling, and Candace is saying the parents is trying to say he's not that nice of a guy, because you know some people have been painting him as, you know, he just kind of went left. He got into being political. He wasn't, you know, into politics and yada yada yada. You know, painting a nice picture of him. He's just a wayward kid. No, this is more people are involved. But I said that from the beginning. Let's go.
First and foremost, they say that a lot of information should be able to be by his devices because he was, according to them, deep web. Okay, this is the person that is deep on the internet. They said that he was quite inclusive, that he was always on his devices, that he's always on the web, and that there should be more information that comes from there. Okay, he turned 22, they told me, back in August, and that he was, as I said, very into this dark web stuff. I asked what he was doing for work, like how are they even able to pay you guys rent, and told me that he was doing some plumbing work with somebody else in the family. They told us that Tyler and him had been living together for at least a year, that they had not met Tyler despite the fact that Lance had wanted to foster that meeting, that the two of them, this couple, Tyler and Lance, were living in that townhome family, and that Tyler was paying rent to Lance, and Lance then of course was forwarding that payment to them. Now, I had asked them about another persistent rumor that is arriving in my inbox, which people are saying who live in the neighborhood that they noticed some unusual traffic. Family member said to me, yup, we are hearing the exact same thing, that they would prod that narrative further, but there was some unusual traffic, a lot of cars.
Is it just me? But Candace asking the neighbors, the family, wouldn't that be what is it called? Impeding on the investigation? Isn't Candace overstepping her bounds? But anyway, we listening. We trying to hear what she got to say. She went live earlier today, and she said she feels that there's more people involved. So we want to hear what Candace Owens has to say. We're ear hustling. My name is Ethereal. I am your host. Go ahead and double tap your screen and get the thumbs up. Participate in the chat as long as you are respectful to me, to each other, and we'll be all good. But you are most definitely able to speak your mind and express your own opinions. All right, let's go.
seen at the outside leading up to the shooting, the days before the shooting or the week before the shooting. I'll straighten out that timeline for you and get real specific, because I will pin down when exactly this was happening. But leading up to the shooting, that there were unusual traffic in the driveway where Tyler Robinson and Lance lived. Cars that were not recognized in the neighborhood. This was not a couple that hosted people. It wasn't like they were expecting them to have parties. And so other people are saying that is something that struck them as odd. There was unusual traffic at this house in the weeks leading up to this shooting. And again, I will perfect that timeline of exactly when. I have gone out to people for evidence of that. But there were apparently lots of different license plates, and it therefore caused a little neighborhood kerfluffle, because other people were not able to park their cars because there were so many people that were at this house. Unusual traffic. Again, we are prodding that narrative. We are taking a look at everybody, because if I don't feel good about what we're hearing, okay, and Lance Twig's family doesn't feel good about what we're hearing, and we've got Decoy Boy, who's apparently involved in some deep internet stuff, I would say is a fair way to describe it. Decoy Boy, okay, George Zinn. There's more people involved. That's what I'm going to say, guys. There is very clearly more.
Our flooring comes with a free
All right.
lifetime installation warranty.
As the commercials roll, go ahead and get the thumbs, pay, participate, and subscribe today. Here we go.
You're unstable. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I have been destabilized by watching Charlie Kirk, a bullet in his neck, and then being gaslit and told nothing to see here. We've got people all around him that are telling little lies. I don't like this, okay? This doesn't feel clean to me. I need timestamps. If you're going to be transparent, be transparent. I'm not saying that you're being dishonest, that you have these text messages. I am saying that I need them in my timeline, okay? And it is just weird that you're giving exact times about certain things, and then suddenly you're like, you know what, we don't need to be anymore, and we can just extrapolate what we need to tell the public a certain narrative, okay? We, the public, don't need a narrative. We need every single plausible detail. If we are ever going to regain any trust in the authorities, post-Epstein world, okay? We're living in a post-Epstein world. It doesn't fly with us. That's not it, you guys. I have more to tell you. I am going to, I guess, at first, let's get through some ads. We're going to get into
Okay,
Bill
so she's getting ready to read off some ads for you all, for her people to sponsor her show. So as she's doing that, I'm going to try to skip through that so we can keep it moving. All right. Let's see here.
Particular strain of the aisle to what here, like, I shouldn't even respond to her. He's so widow. Widow. I just love billionaires, right? They're just so full of themselves. They are so, their arrogance matches their bank accounts. Like, oh, we should, oh, he's got billions. Let's just take it. Let's just, oh my, well, he couldn't do anything wrong. Yeah, you need to answer basic questions, and we gave you an opportunity to do that. Conspicuously missing is you not addressing whether or not Charlie was offered more money and funding. Bibi Netanyahu, could you help us out? Whether or not Bibi Netanyahu invited him to Israel as a last-ditch effort to reaffirm his support for Israel, or if, as I asserted and as I maintain, Charlie was being pressured throughout this event about his viewpoints on Israel, and to him, he reflected that this felt like an intervention. Okay? Can you answer those basic questions? That would be great. Like I said, it's interesting. I didn't even mention Bibi Netanyahu at all. You can stand up to him. Does anybody want to jump in and say, no, yeah, the letter Charlie wrote him in May was just like a glowing, he just was overcome with passion and said, I love Israel. You guys are amazing. You're beautiful. We're going to win this thing, and you're perfect and doing nothing wrong. Love you, Bibi. I just find that weird that no one wants to address the substance of the claims here, whether or not maybe Bill himself has an opinion on whether Bibi lied by severe omission when he mentioned his last correspondences with Charlie. Because I feel like if Charlie said go to Israel, maybe don't bring up. I just invited him, like as if it was friendly and everything was great, and he was just going to come out. And sadly, he won't be able to make it out here. And regarding to decide what's real and what's fake, whether or not what we're doing is real or fake, you can take Charlie in his own words. Shout out to Village Crazy Lady on X. She's a great follow. She just reads Bill Ackman's diatribe and says, okay, she goes through the itinerary. Bill Ackman just confirmed that he hosted his meeting with Charlie on August 4th and 5th. Here's Charlie talking the very next day on August 6th. Now, how do you think that meeting went down? Oh, yeah, forgot to tell you that. That's the next day, okay? That is the next day that Charlie sits down and vents frustration about how he is being treated. Take Charlie in his own words. And by the way, yesterday, we only showed one portion of what Charlie said to Meghan on that show. Go watch the full thing. Remember, he's with Seth. He's in the Hamptons. Bill just confirmed that gratefully. And then suddenly he's overcome with a need to vent about the pressure that both he and Meghan are facing as people that have traditionally always supported Israel. Let's take Charlie in his own words. Take a listen.
My contention here is that some in the pro-Israel camp are so knee-jerk about calling you anti-Semitic or getting deeply offended if you say anything that doesn't align with their narrative, that it undermines their own cause. And I have to tell you, I find it very irritating because I do feel like some of us have earned the right to have some credibility on the subject of Israel and don't want to be called those names when we have some mild pushback on some of the overreaches, whether it's, you know, whether they're winning or losing the propaganda war right now. And my contention is they've begun to lose it. And I realize it's propaganda coming at us from Hamas, but their numbers have turned. Here in America, they've turned, not so much with Republicans, a little bit with Republicans, but completely with the Democrat Party and with independents. They shifted mightily from highs to single-digit lows now with when it comes. And also with respect to, you related about this at the Turning Point event, whether the possibility of Jeffrey Epstein, possibly odd agent or asset or affiliated with, that's been turned around on me too, to you must be anti-Semitic. What the hell? That's such bullshit. The same people who say you can criticize Israel, that's fine, we won't call you anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel, now turn immediately and say you're anti-Semitic for even raising that. I completely reject that. And I raise this as a pushback
Let me say this
against my friends.
Candace was lucky just getting her podcast canceled here. So remember when she got accused of being anti-Semitic when she was talking to that Jewish man? Baby, in the chat, yeah, Charlie pissed somebody off, y'all. Charlie Kirk pissed somebody off, and they were not happy with it. I believe maybe when he started, you know, just like singers and rappers, they start so fresh, they are, you know, creative. Charlie Kirk, then he started a grassroots organization on fire. But then when that money starts coming in and people have their own agendas, right? Your own agendas, and you're taking money, you're taking sponsorships, you're doing all this to move more fluently on your trips, on your campaigns across America and wherever else Charlie may have ventured to. Those people come calling. You know, there's always lobbyists somewhere. They lobby for their agenda. And so when you see people push somebody, I believe they said he had about 40 million. Charlie was worth about 40 million. Where he get that money from? I don't think he came out the gate rich. He came out as a grassroots guy starting an organization. And when that money comes, promises also happen. That's just my thought. But he pissed somebody off. Maybe he want to go back to being grassroots with his conversations and stop being controlled. Who knows? But something is not right in the wash when it comes to this old young guy, because that hit was too smooth. He got out of there too clean. Either he was trained by somebody or he had a stint. But he definitely, I'm talking about Mr. Ray right now. Okay. Robinson that's locked it right now. He got out of there too smooth, too clean. without it looked like a military hit. It looked like, but he gonna be the father regardless of what it looked like. He won't make it. He probably won't make it to the trial, y'all. To the trial, because there's money involved. Let's continue.
On that particular strain of the aisle to watch it, because you don't want to alienate people who are openly your friends by going nuts in your crackdowns on mild pushback on anything related to Israel. Now you take it.
I'm so glad you brought this up, and I would second that, Megan. I think I have a bulletproof resume showing my defense of Israel, both on campus, on social media, to great, let's just say mockery and scorn at times, because I believe it, right? I believe in the scriptural land rights given to Israel. I believe in fulfillment of prophecy. And again, I'm not a theologian, but I'm a Christian. My life was changed in Israel. The spiritual energy is so amazing there. I want them to said that very potent and important. Now, let me first say, there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that are very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you're with us, you don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, not like we're going to be Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat.
Not the Sabbath.
Literally,
what you know about the Sabbath, Charlie? Wait.
There's another
Charlie, what about the Sabbath?
Today, I can read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here.
I can tell you right now, from the energy that is coming out of him, the energy that's coming out of Megan, is where I was 2 years ago. Okay? I've been there. You can't even you can't even attempt to lie to me about what is pouring off of both of them. I'm someone who spent my life, my political life, defending Israel. Didn't really think to me. It seemed like a good, argument on the surface that we should support them. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. Okay, now I know that that's not even true. But like, who cares? I was just like pro-America, and I wanted to focus on BLM and getting Black America better. And then that happened. I said one thing, and suddenly, like, whoa!
Yeah, we know.
Like they
can't cancel you.
It's like Agent Smith.
They can't cancel you.
It's like Agent Smith in the Matrix. How many can there be all saying the same thing? And then they gaslight you. They make it easy because they're like, why don't you understand why what you did is really wrong? I remember the tweet. I said, no person, nobody, no nation anywhere in the world has a right to commit genocide. And I was suddenly being flooded with messages from people, Dave Rubin, I remember this. I was like, what did you mean by that? And they're texting me, it's like, we can help you. You can help me what? I said something that made sense. Like, this should not offend anybody. Nobody has, genocide's not cool, right? Did something change? Where was I? It's when you tweeted it. And like, you could have been clearer. You should have added, Israel would never do that. I'm like, okay, you guys are being insane. This statement stands. I was referring to Brian Mast's remarks, but even if I wasn't, and I just tweeted genocide is always wrong, that tweet should always be right. I can feel that energy, okay? When you're not sure who your friends are, they're starting to gaslight you. They're making you think you're going crazy for having sensible positions. And there's no halfway house for this, okay? I can tell you that. You're either going to take being kicked in the chest, okay, and told to get out, and then suddenly they're all communicating behind your back and just read.
Wait a minute. She done touched on something. Because I can understand. That's why this platform is an open panel for you to come and put your own ideals, your own thoughts, your own opinions without being judged, as long as it's respectful. Because I've been there where you think you're amongst people that you can talk to, people that you think have some form of intelligence, but they are controlling. They are want to be little mini dictators in these social media platforms. And if you don't think or say what they want you to say, then they give you the boot. And it just is not right. And we're seeing it now because Charlie Kirk got his life taken for his opinions. That's one thing I can agree with. We should not be afraid to speak our own mind. And as long as you're not talking about literally taking somebody's life, right? An opinion should not constitute their lives taken. No matter if you don't like what they have to say, as long as they're not trying to, have hate speech to gather up people to go hurt one another. That's something totally different. I think we could all agree that that is something totally different. But taking somebody's life or just shunning them or exiling them out of your group, your platform. Well, what is the purpose of having a platform when it's an echo chamber? What is the purpose of having a platform when it's an echo chamber? You're just regurgitating whatever you feel, your thoughts, and then I expect just to see in this chat everything I said just reflected back to me. That's an echo chamber, guys. This platform is not an echo chamber. Do you understand? This platform offers you the ability to speak your mind, whether you're for Charlie Kirk or against Charlie Kirk, Republican, Democrat, left field, right field, whatever. I'm not associated I do not have a political position with either party. But I will not continue to develop this platform and turn it into nothing but an echo chamber. This should be a platform where people can speak their mind, and maybe somebody might just say something to make somebody go, make them think. That's what platforms should be about. Not just hearing everybody agree to what everybody else is saying or what the host is saying. All right, I just had to touch on that. Y'all get the thumbs up. Tap the screen to get the thumbs up or subscribe today. When you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell and go all the way to the top to the solid black bell, and so that you can get notifications as they come out. And we're ear hustling. We're tapping into Candace Owens. She says something ain't right. She feels some more people are involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'm your host, Ethereal. Let's get it.
What's going on? They're like trying to make you think you're going crazy because you're saying some sensible stuff. Charlie was at that moment. He says that he is receiving messages calling him an anti-Semite. So how can you lie right now and dispute it? And better question, why are you lying? I don't like little lies. I'm being contacted by a lot of people that are telling me that just within 48 hours before Charlie passed away, his top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him, demanding that Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who that is, how many people could have donated. And then once Charlie was killed, they said, never mind, put it back on the building. Charlie himself had alluded to a tremendous loss of money coming in, and we'll speak about that more. More people are going to come out with information. This is all inevitable, okay? And I'll also do in this direction. You guys remember Bibi recently was on a PR blitz, despite the fact that he was fighting this 96,000 front war because Israel didn't do nothing, okay? He was doing a ton of podcasts in America. He went on to Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He went on to Brennan Tatum's podcast. He went on to the Noise podcast. Anybody find it weird he didn't do Charlie Kirk's show? Homie very quickly told us that Charlie was implied that Charlie was penning love letters to him in May. Just love you so much. Saying they were so close. Boys just hits him up like, hey, I know we're fighting the 7,000 front war because we're always the victims, but do you want to just come and maybe stay at my place for the weekend here in Israel? Like, that's the vibe that Bibi was rushing to present to the media. So why didn't you do Charlie Kirk's show? I'll leave that as a question for you guys. Common sense. Common sense, okay? I don't like small lies. And remember, Bibi started this, responding to his shamelessness. Shameless misrepresentation of what Charlie was going through and what Charlie was saying. Because, and I want to be clear, to me right now, it feels, and I'm using a corporate term here, a bit like a hostile takeover, okay? Charlie builds the company organically on the basis of Charlie and Charlie's honest ideas. Suddenly, that company's got a lot of money. Get a custom site plan for your property. Fast,
And she gets these coins. Go ahead and don't. You know what? Let me check to see if y'all participating, because also over here, I ask for participation. I really do, not just sitting back. I mean, it doesn't take much to get the thumbs up, right? Hit the thumbs up or double tap your screen. It doesn't take much to do it. And if you enjoy this platform, the content, want to just ear hustle every now and again, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Over here, this is an open platform, an open panel. People, I enjoy conversation. Do you understand? I'm not here to pacify no one on either side. I enjoy conversation. I'm a conversationalist, okay? And I want to see what you all have to say. I would be bored hosting a panel and just seeing everything I say regurgitated by your little fingers typing away. So say what you feel what you say, as long as you are respectful. Okay? We can get along. Can't we all just get along? Okay? We can. And we can do that right here on this platform. I'm your host, Ethereal. Let's get back into the conversation. We're ear hustling, ladies and gentlemen.
There's this whole drama that was happening, which we'll unpack a different day. Maybe I'll leave today's on this tidbit. But those people never mentioned that they were in the Hamptons for a Turning Point event or for a Turning Point weekend, which Bill is saying. Were they told not to say anything about being at that event? Because Bill Ackman's being very open about it, but they weren't open about it at that time. We'll leave there. We will leave it right there. Okay. I will just add here that the response to me asking these questions, it is like, if you want to know why everyone hates like rabid supporters of Israel, it's because they never change their tune, right? They're like in the comments being like, Bill Ackman, sue her, take her money, just take her money. That's it. That's how we win. That's what they always do. They threaten to sue you. They threaten to you, libel you. How dare you even ask the questions? This is this chick who straight his house. She goes, this is what, like before Charlie died. I'm not kidding. A week before he died, this was her tweet to him. I'm going to show you how sick these people are. Okay. Do you have that tweet, Skylar? Oh, okay. Well, she tweeted this whole thread about how Charlie Kirk had distanced himself. Tucker Carlson was one of the people. And yes, she happens to be Jew. And then Charlie dies, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't. This person I was just saying, like, you know, kind of do this or else to pray for Charlie Kirk. And now she's arrived at this Bill Ackman thing. It's just sue her. Just sue. That's how we win. We crush them economically. We're sick of this. We are all of us. Collectively, the globe, we're tired of you guys, okay? It's always about money, threats of this stuff. It's ridiculous. Do what we say or we'll ruin your life. We're going to call our friends and we'll just start writing hit pieces about you and we'll destroy you. Do what we say or we'll have you canceled. We'll have your sponsorships dropped. Do what we say or we'll make sure that you're fired. We'll put pressure so that you can't earn income. If you're still not going to listen to us and you survive that, we're going to sue you for everything you have. You guys suck, okay? We don't care about your money. We are tired of it. This reveals who you are. I am. The truth should be enough. Offered him my platform. If there's more you'd like to say, Bill, things you'd like to clarify, again, my platform is yours. Even though I know you're so highfalutin and above us. He even says in that tweet, by the way, he says like, speaking about how much, they just don't care about you billionaires. He's like, and the fact that she monetized her video, something along those lines, like talking about yesterday's episode. Oh my God, how can she read ads? Oh, are you the same Bill Ackman that made an absurd amount of money while we were in COVID lockdowns and we couldn't work? Are you the same Bill Ackman who like turned that into like billions? I'm pretty sure you
we're
are.
At the end of this pretty much. She's going to go into a rant about Bill Ackman making money. So, you know, she's basically came on to say she feels that other people are involved. Duh. I said that as soon as I heard the play. I heard the play when they said he was there with about 4 cops and 2 ununiformed cops. Nobody was checked for weapons. That was on ground zero on the floor. Oh, this is a setup from the gate. This is a setup from the gate. Oh, I knew it was a setup from the gate. You hear me? And then they said, I heard an eyewitness. This worst happened, y'all. An eyewitness said that she turned around because she heard like the shot rang out from behind her, and she thought it came from over by a hill or a mountain, whatever she was seeing. Okay, and so the camera kind of swung over that way. I said, "Oh, that's a sniper. That's a sniper. That's somebody been trained. Oh no, they ain't playing no games. That's a sniper. I don't even care. You know, the young, he's young, and Utah." I know they go hunting out there, but that distance, baby, that's sniper training right there. You can't tell me it's not. All right, that's my opinion. I said it was more people involved, and we gonna see it. And hey, Charlie might have wanted to go back to saying what he wanted to say. Maybe he was being led like a little puppet too, and said something he ain't had no business saying, and he had already collected that money. You know, they always lobbying to give you some money, but they want to start controlling your destiny. Hey, like I have told you guys, I have had my what I have said about Charlie, I meant it when he came out and talked about the Austin police chief of fire. No, it was the fire chief out of Austin, Texas. He blamed him for the floods that happened in Texas. That man was 2 hours away and blamed DI. So believe me, I speak my mind over here, and I expect you to speak your mind. But I expect us to have a civil conversation. All right. When you're over here, I appreciate all of you for stopping in. Once again, my name is Ethereal, and I am your host. Go ahead and get those thumbs up and subscribe to the channel today. And I'm out, and much love.